Welcome to the Green Table Talk. I am your host, Jane Johnson. I am extremely happy and honored to share the story of my two friends, Jessica and Ian. We have just this amazing culmination between the both of you. You donated your liver, Ian, to Jessica.
I listed everything and he just turned and looked at me and was like, okay. And I'm like, what do you mean, okay?
Did you hear what I said?
I have ulcerative colitis. I've had my colon removed. I had to have temporary ileostomy. I had a reconnection surgery.
Ian, What is going through your mind when you hear all this? The woman that you're like head over heels over is running off a laundry list of this and this and this.
I'm hearing honesty.
That is beautiful.
They were necessary conversations.
Yes.
They're hard conversations to have, but you're glad that you have them. All my testing was basically done. So she called me on a Thursday, and I think I had a MRI the following Friday. A couple weeks after that, they called me again. That's when you were in the car with me.
Mm-hmm.
So Jess was getting albumin. Infusions.
So I was getting infusions to treat the water retention that I was having in my legs because my diuretic pills weren't working really.
Okay.
So something else to help with the water retention.
So
we were going downtown for an appointment.
So we're both in the car, and nurse calls, and she's like, "Okay, I'm okay to share this information if you are." I'm like, "Yes, I am."
So she said that Ian was anatomically a match, and then we had a tentative date. Yeah.
So this was.
Oh.
Yeah.
So wait a second. Hold on. So you just found out you're a match, and you're finding out you have a date for surgery. Mind blown. What are you thinking, Jessica, at this point?
So Ian was really happy, and at that stage I was happy about it too because I was getting sicker, and it was becoming even obvious to myself, and we had been talking about sort of how much longer this was going to take. So we sort of celebrated that and the idea.
Yeah, I think I pulled over and we had a cry.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, what was your reaction, Ian? How did you feel?
Excited, I think.
Yes, he was really happy about it, and I didn't feel happy, but I was glad that we had a date and that I knew who the donor was, that I had a donor.
You knew where that liver's been.
Oh man,
you guys killed me. It's a good liver. He's taking care of it, so you're good.
It's been exercised. We'll say that.
There you go.
So we had a bit of a cry, and then we had an appointment, right? So we had to go to the appointment. And you just carry on, right? You just go through your day. I mean, you kind of.
So again, it was just sort of it took a while for it to really sink in that we had a date and all this stuff. So that was we didn't really expect to get any kind of information about a when it was going to take place that early. So it was good.
Yeah, so I think that was the end of September that they gave us a date.
Now, go ahead, finish.
I was going to say, and so the date was about 2 months away.
Okay. At any point during this process, I know you're very positive people. Jessica and I have spoken about that before. At any point during this process, did either of you mention or think on your own separately, I don't know, this may not turn out in a positive way? Did that cross your mind at any point? Did you share that thought with each other? Just kind of kept it to yourself?
We did talk about it.
Yeah, we came up with some plans if things didn't work. So for our caregivers post-transplant, X, Y, or Z to happen, this is my way.
We were really organized, and I think the way that we approached it was more of a let's think this thing through and think about all scenarios, and if any of these scenarios were to happen, because that was the reality of the situation. We don't know, right? So if something were to happen to Ian or just me or both of us, what would we want? And we talked about it because there were times even when I wasn't like, I was concerned for Ian in terms of like our communication definitely improved through this, because it forced us to have to make sure that we understood what the other person wanted or what we were thinking or how we felt about the situation.
I had to listen.
Yes. You have to really
both.
turn your ears on and listen at
Yeah.
this point, right?
We both did though. And like I said, like things like expressing how much I wanted him to be my caregiver was like, that was sort of like the first communication step. And then talking about everything in terms of like, you know, from if it turned out well to if it didn't. They were, I wouldn't necessarily consider them hard conversations. They were necessary conversations. And I think that we're kind of lucky in a sense that we've already sort of gone through that of having to talk about the things that we want
And
at the end of life or whatever, or after.
I mean,
Because now we know and understand each other better.
they're hard conversations to have, but you're glad that you have them.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
and we had our wills done about 3 years ago now. So I mean,
as soon as COVID hit, because we were told like if you get COVID, that might be a fast track to transplant.
and the whole world was like, oh my God, everybody's gonna die of COVID. Right?
Yeah. So we were like, we got to get the wills done. Like it's got to happen now. So we had all of our wills and everything like that finished. And like, we were, again, like, I'm so glad that we did all of that. Like early on and not having to scramble to do it during the transplant process. Like that would have been a nightmare.
Yes, exactly.
One thing to get done, right?
Yeah.
You were ready for regardless of the situation, you were ready. You were ready for the negative side, but you're still thinking positive and you're thinking it's going to turn out great, but just in case you have this backup plan, which is very good.
Hope for the best, plan for the worst.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I don't,
so now go ahead. Yeah.
I don't think we really like you said, like, yeah, we didn't really think, oh, this is actually going to happen. It was just a necessary planning.
Yes. And there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all.
So during my evaluation period, we talked to my brother and his fiance at the time, and saying, okay, if this comes to fruition, we're going to need some help. So they're self-employed. They work with each other, and they their downtime is in the winter. Right?
Okay.
So the timing kind of worked out perfectly. So
what was the surgery date? What was your surgery date?
My
December
date was
7th.
December 7th.
Okay.
It was 3 months yesterday.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Congratulations. It's good.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So now, surgery day. It's December 7th. I saw this amazing video. It was just emotion. But you know what? Let's just show the video now and we'll talk about it after. My goodness, that video was so beautiful. No words, but so much is being said in that video. Ian, what's going through your mind at that point? I mean, I saw emotionally, but what thoughts were you having at that point?
That's when things got real. So, I mean, once you pass through that door, right? Like there's no phone, there's no nothing. They give you cute little booties for your feet and a gown. And so there's no like communication to anybody out there, right? But you're just with a bunch of other patients. So there's nobody to really talk to, but everybody's in the same situation.
Yes.
Past that, but it was real at that point.
What about you, Jessica?
I wasn't worried. I wasn't worried at all. I'm not worried about my outcome. Right. I've been
worried about me.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Right. Sorry, you.
Okay. So
yeah, what's going through your mind?
It was, I guess, just saying good. So it's that whole like hope for the best, plan for the worst. So when you're saying, like, when I'm saying goodbye to him before he goes in, I don't know when I'm going to see him next.
Yeah.
So it's that like you you assume you're going to, but then there's that little voice in the back of your head that said,
Yeah.
like, you never know, and maybe not.
What if?
There's unknown, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that it was, and then he was like, we were both teary-eyed and crying, but, and so it's hard to say goodbye
Of
in
course.
that, right? Because you don't know if that's going to be the last time that you see them or not. So I mean, and it's like Ian said, like, reality hit. I have a lot of concern for him, because I know from previous experience that he worries a lot about me. And so I have concern for him in that respect. Like, I don't want to worry about me when, you know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
so that's also hard. So it was just, yeah, saying goodbye, but giving some reassurance at the same time and saying that it'll be okay.
But
just trying to be strong for each other as well.
Yeah.
so that part, I'm going to rewind 10 years when Jess had emergency surgery. She had a perforated ulcer in her duodenum.
That was in 2013. So
2013.
it was an emergency surgery that I had to have.
So I had to be in the waiting room, waiting for her to go through this emergency surgery. Waiting was than going for the surgery, dealing with the moments before you're going through the whole situation.
We talked a lot about that as well. Like, I wanted to make sure as a donor that he wasn't doing it just so that he didn't have to be in the waiting room and go through that again. Well,
I'd just rather go for surgery as opposed to be by myself, right?
It sounds ridiculous, but and I mean, and that's where my worry came from, because at that time he sat for hours by himself waiting for me and not knowing if I'm going to live or not, like, and dealing with that by himself. And so I knew that, like, having him go through that experience and then having him worry that might happen again, there was a lot of concern for that. And like I said, like, I wanted to, like, we had conversations about, like, you're doing this, like, not just so you don't have to, you know.
It wasn't the main reason, but
yeah,
it was there.
Yeah.
Now in the waiting room, you have family. I remember you saying there's family and friends in the waiting room.
Well,
Ian, sorry, go ahead.
Right. So we had my brother and his fiance.
Okay.
So
now,
yeah.
two people, but two strong people that you could turn to and just, help distract your mind while, Jessica's in the waiting room. Did you utilize that, or you just kind of stayed, focused? You're in your own zone. Like, how was it for you, Ian?
Well, I was in surgery, so like that part, like, there was no waiting, right? So it was Jessica. With them.
That's right. So you're the one in the waiting room.
So,
right. Yes.
So I went in. Right. I went in first, right? So I went in first. I left everybody, right?
Yeah.
Good luck.
So Brad was Ian's care person, and then Tracy was mine. So as the caregiver, care person, Brad had to give his telephone number so that they could send him a message and let him know when the surgery had started. So we left Ian, the three of us, and he just walks through these doors, and that's it. He's just gone. You have no idea what's behind the doors. It's just, you're saying goodbye, and he just leaves. And then you kind of are like, okay, now what? So we have to go down to, like, my room and wait for them to call me for my surgery. So in the meantime, we get a text and it says, okay, Ian's surgery started. And then you're waiting, right?
So then, I should have flipped the question to you. So what's going through your mind at that time? Ian's mind is clear at this point.
Oh yeah. Lights are out, right?
Exactly. So what were you thinking at this point?
To be fair, I wasn't thinking about him really, because my surgery was coming up. So now I'm wondering, like, how long is it going to be before they're going to call me and I have to kind of do the same thing. And then we're all going on, like, little sleep and that kind of thing too. And there's stuff that I had to do, like, I had to, give blood, and they had to do blood tests and things. And we were waiting for a COVID test to come back and some of the other tests for things. So I wasn't too concerned. Like, he's healthy, and like the donor going in, they're a healthy person going in. Yes. So the chances of him going, like having something horrible, like horribly go wrong is minute. And that's the way that the program's built, is so that
Yes,
it happens that way.
exactly.
So I wasn't that worried about him really.
You're thinking about what's going on with me.
Yeah.
Wow.
It sounds horrible.
Wow.
Hey, Ian, it's all love. It's all love.
I think, well, because, and I think the other thing too is I knew like he was out, like he was, we got the text that he was in surgery, so I'm like, well, he's not even awake anymore to
That's
worry,
it, right?
Can't do anything now.
It's out of your hands, right?
Well, and I think that's part of it, is that like he's in there, I'm not going to get any information. I know that the doctors know what they're doing, and I'm like, if anything goes wrong, we're going to hear about it or whatever. So I'm like, in the meantime, like there's no sense in worrying about it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, everything's going well.
Yeah, and look at him now. Look at him. Nothing even don't even look like a scar, scratch, anything went wrong. So you're good.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Thanks.
So
Anytime. I love you.
you know what? It's okay. That's the beauty of this relationship, the honesty. You love the honesty. There's nothing wrong with that. That's good.
Jeff. I probably would have been in the situation.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. I feel like.
Probably would have had your phone out on some video game.
Now, I also have another beautiful video where you see each other for the first time, I believe, after surgery. Is it directly after surgery, or give me a little description of that one?
So it was the day after surgery, wasn't
Day
it?
after
I
surgery.
think it was because day one, so day 0 is surgery. Day one,
okay.
you just stand up, right? They don't give day 2. I'm like,
Okay.
yeah.
You were up and walking day 2. So
Okay.
yeah, so I was going for a walk with my with a physiotherapist. But I was in one of those big walking things, and we're walking along, and I knew that Ian was gonna be, like, I was gonna be seeing him, but I can't remember what the scenario was. I just know that I wasn't expecting to see him walking down the hallway towards me. I think I thought that like I was gonna go to his room, or he was gonna come to mine. And so I'm just like going for a walk around the hall, and then
All of a sudden.
all of a sudden.
So a little bit of context to that. So the way it's set up at Toronto General is it's all the transplants are on level 7, and there's different wards, right? A and B. So I can't remember what ward we were on, but I was on A, she was on B.
Yes.
So they do that for design, so that just in case it's anonymous donor, they're on a different ward, right? And we have the same last names. I'm sure they don't want to mix up our medications. So so our wards are kind of separate. This is kind of important a little bit later, but so day 2, my brother's coming. I'm like, okay, I need to walk. Let's go see Jess. Like, I'm not waiting any longer. Let's go. So she had no idea I was coming.
No.
She's doing her physio with her physiotherapist, and
he's going for a walk.
Yeah.
But he knew he knew where he was going. I did.
Yeah.
and then that's
this happens. You see each other, and let's take a look at the video.
Don't cry. Sorry. You need to breathe and not get dizzy, okay?
I'm already dizzy, so.
Okay. Okay. Bye.
Yeah, no kidding.
We're taking our mask off first.
You look really good.
So do you. Where's the yellow go?
I don't know. I think on the walls. Are you gonna come with me?
My goodness. Yeah, I mean, you guys, wow. Like, I can only imagine. It's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. Like, it's emotional. It's honest. Tell me what goes through your mind. You said you get teary-eyed watching it, Ian?
Yeah, I still do.
Like now.
It's okay. There's nothing wrong with that because I may or may not be holding back tears myself. So it's okay.
So what's going through my mind at that point?
Yes.
Seeing her walk, I think
Mhm.
it was, I don't know, it's, I don't like to use the word magical, but I don't think it was like, it was huge. It was,
Mhm.
don't really have words for it because it was just emotions.
And I wasn't jaundiced anymore. You said that in the video. You were saying like how white I was looking.
Yeah,
or
pink.
something. Pink, yeah. Yeah. Wasn't jaundiced.
And then you're saying, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry. What was going through your mind, Jessica?
So I was, first of all, I was in like shock a little bit. So I was super surprised to see him walking. So yeah, super emotional. I see him walking down the hallway and then just instant tears. And I was so happy to see him, and he was walking and he looked good. And I get to have a hug from him.
Yes.
Like that was a big thing too. Like
a tethered hug and like so many cables to us. It was 4 IVs and we had things in our neck.
But a beautiful hug, still the same, regardless, right? Long overdue.
Yeah. And I mean, for us, like we're so used to being together through hard times like this that there were parts that were for sure difficult. I think Ian might have had a harder time at some points than I did, depending on this situation. But yeah, I missed him.
Yeah, that was very evident in that video. You both missed each other. You can tell.
Yeah.
So now it's been a few months since surgery. What was recovery? What's the recovery process like for the both of you? I'll let you decide who's going to go first.
I'll go first, I guess.
Ladies first. Yeah.
Recovery. Well, I'll be totally honest in terms of like, you know, the first couple of days after surgery, you're high as a kite because of all the drugs you're on that you feel pretty fantastic.
Yes.
And will start to wear off and then you're suddenly, okay, I don't feel so good anymore.
Yes.
But in terms of like how everything went in our cases, like the surgery went really, really well. The doctors were super happy with how everything went and looked, which made things a lot easier. And in terms of recovery, like it was pretty seamless. There wasn't really anything that was going wrong. Everything was going right. We had a few like kind of ups and downs, but nothing crazy.
Yes.
And it was just about a matter of like, okay, we're going to walk and now we have to walk every day. So you're just doing, you know, like the regular things like walking, whatever. And then you're discharged from the hospital. And then there is a bit of a shift from like hospital life to now home life. And one thing that you definitely get more of is sleep when you're at home.
Oh yes.
Yeah, there's no
hospital. They come in and wake you up like bright and early.
Yeah. So that was huge. And then for us, again, like being able to even just sleep in the same bed together was really nice. You know, or just being able to be together again. Because otherwise Ian was coming to visit, you know, once a day sort of thing, because that's all he could kind of handle in terms of, you know, the fatigue afterwards.
Of course.
And then you kind of get in the routine of like doing things, but then you're still dealing with that fatigue of it's just draining. Like,
yes,
I know Ian had a hard time with the fatigue and sort of understanding what that was like. Because you go things and you're like, all right, yeah, I feel good. And then afterwards you just, out. And then once that was done, we're back home and trying to have sort of like normal home life, whatever that is.
Yes.
Still dealing with like unpacking stuff and like figuring out where things are. And it was,
still not lifting 10 pounds.
Yeah. You know? So that transition was difficult where you're at home and you can do things, but not a lot of things. Like, there's a lot of things that you realize that has to do, you know, with lifting. So we had
there's a lot of lifting that you do. I mean, you've got that big, beautiful dog, just basic things like groceries, you know, we had our dogs, they stayed with friends for 2 months. Okay.
And so that was also hard, particularly he was like, oh, my babies. and then you'd like talk about going to see them, and he'd be like, no, it'll be too hard on them.
Yes. So like
Like,
leave
hard
afterwards.
on you. But no, it was really nice having them back finally. And
To me, having them back was like a sense of normality.
Yes, of course.
Families back together.
yeah.
Mhm.
And then like for me anyways, there's a lot of, I think like the first 2 months is just about sort of like doing things and feeling good physically. And then kind of like out of that physical, like, you know, there's still some things that are a little bit of a struggle, but now you're into a better routine. Now it's all the mental stuff that comes up where, okay, like for instance, like I'm on a lot of drugs and I'm on prednisone is one of them. So I have this super round.
I know, we talked about that.
Yes. And
Lovely side effects of prednisone.
I know.
Yes.
So like you look in the mirror and you're like, this just doesn't look like me. You don't feel normal. And just, you know, even trying to figure out like food stuff, like we were told that I should never eat a salad that's ever anywhere other than like homemade.
Yes.
You're yourself. And it's just, you have fear of, you know, eating things or going somewhere and catching something because that could turn into some major issue, or there's all these things that you're trying to sort of navigate and figure out and determine, like, is it really that bad? And so it's all the mental things that go along with having a transplant that you're now sort of trying to process, and even processing like what you went through in the hospital and how far like all of that. It just takes so much time, like where I'm still dealing with all of that,
Still adjusting, of course. Of course.
just find what this new normal is and who I am without having, you know, a liver disease or being sick in some way. So it's good, but you know, there's still some things that come with it.
You'll get adjusted. I can tell you, you know, as you know, I had a kidney transplant. You will definitely get adjusted. Your face, you still look beautiful regardless. And once you pregnant, and I'm sure Ian can testify that as well. You look gorgeous.
I know.
So pretty.
There you go.
So good. He has though. He's been really good. Like
You're gonna get used to it, and you know, like you said, you're kind of hesitant on, you know, should you do this? Should you do that? It'll become second nature. It'll be to the point where you just know. You know what I mean? You're still, you know, adjusting at this point. It's just a few months, but I guarantee it'll be just like the second nature after a while. I'm not concerned.
that's good. If you're not,
Yeah. And then you're good.
Here's the keys.
There you go.
You're on your own.
Ian, how was it for you? How was, you know, recovery for you?
It was good. Being healthy going into surgeries, I mean,
Definitely
you come out,
helps.
right? So in the hospital, I mean, you don't go there for the food.
No.
But it's funny hearing Jessica's side of things, because it's like hearing your stuff is completely different in my outlook, because mine's like of the stuff that actually happens, like the logistics of things and stuff. So we were on different wards. So her ward actually got quarantined while we were in there. So
Oh no.
that video of us meeting for the first time
that was like
was the last time we were able to see each other in the hospital as well.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah.
well while he was in
While I was a patient.
while he was in,
I can see her as a visitor, but I couldn't see her as a patient, right?
Yes.
Because they didn't want me to bring back to my ward.
So
the hydromorphone that we were on was horrible. I hated it.
so that was
really?
Couldn't stand it. It was every time I closed my eyes, I would be transported to a conversation that I could see and hear. I'm not sleeping, but I could be part of it. And I was like, no, this is not for me.
which is funny because I had the same experience, but my hallucinations and things were like these, like I'll tell you after, but man, like they were, I funny stories like about things that I was like, oh, here's another hallucination.
Oh my God. Really?
This, and Ian's like,
No.
See, I missed out on that. I didn't get that. I didn't get the hallucinations.
Man, they were pretty wicked.
So, yeah,
Wow.
wanted off that.
Yeah, I didn't. Maybe I got gypped on mine because I don't remember. I got no hallucinations whatsoever.
Cocktail. I don't know.
I don't know.
So I wanted off that pain pump as quick as possible. I didn't
Oh
like it.
wow, no, that was my best friend. I was like tick tick, and that's it. Like we were besties. I said, is there any way we could take some of this home, like
Yeah.
put in a little package or something? Because it was
Well,
just
So they
wow.
so they took it off
Mm.
day 3, I think it was, and so they just gave me Tylenol,
Mhm.
500 milligrams twice a day of
Okay.
Tylenol.
Because that's when they switch you to oral, the oral medication, and he
Yeah.
was just like, nope, I don't want it.
Yeah,
You didn't take it at all.
hydromorphone. I didn't want it. No.
Wow.
But I felt that I did need it as well.
Okay.
So
Okay.
like I didn't have, honestly, I didn't have much pain at all.
Wow.
I could tell, something was missing.
Mhm, mhm. Felt
I could-
lighter in there, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, the whole process, I lost 15 pounds. 3 went over there. Uh, but I mean, it was just weird sensations. Like taking the elevator, I could feel things kind of
Yeah.
moving.
He didn't
It-
like it
Really?
for the first little while.
I've
the-
never heard that before.
I didn't like that. I felt like there was a vacancy in here,
Yes.
right? And I was like, no,
Wow.
I didn't like that.
That's interesting.
But it was more the abdominal strength. So I was bathing it basically and trying to get a hernia, and
One of your worst things, he has allergies.
Mhm.
oh yeah,
He would sneeze, but his sneezes are like,
it's like rapid fire, right? Like 5
Mm.
sneezes.
So that pain in the stomach.
yeah. And you could,
Wow.
I wasn't there, but he was telling me, and
That was
Tracy
terrible.
and Brad would be like, oh,
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I get that. I understand. I would like take a pillow and try to hold it against my stomach
Yep.
when I was sneezing. It didn't always work, but you gotta try something.
yeah.
so the food was bad. I couldn't sleep in the hospital, which was nobody's fault.
Mhm.
And the food's nobody's fault either. The Jello's good. Jello was
Yes, that's true.
good. Surprising. I was anticipating it being horrible, but I was like, this is
It
actually
was
pretty
good stuff. Yeah.
So then got discharged. They were going to discharge me on the Sunday, which was day 4, but the pharmacy wasn't open, so I just said discharge Monday.
Mhm.
Take the medication home. So we rented an apartment close to the hospital,
Okay.
just so that Brad and Tracy, our caregivers, could come back and forth to the hospital easily, as
Mhm.
well as we didn't know if there was going to be complications, and it's nice being close to the hospital, right?
Yes, of course.
We're not very far from the hospital as the crow flies, but as driving in Toronto, it's
Mhm.
anywhere between an hour to 2 hours, right?
Yes.
So we rented the apartment about a kilometer away, and
It was great.
it was great. Had my PlayStation with me, that
Gotta
I
get the necessities. Need the necessities.
for buying that a couple months prior to the surgery, but
Mhm.
that
I
worked out.
forgave him afterwards.
PlayStation liver, right?
I gave him something to do afterwards.
So then, and I was pushing myself to walk, right? So a kilometer walk to the hospital was good. It was a 15-minute walk.
Yes.
Uber.
Okay.
So yeah, then you were shortly home to the apartment after. And
Yeah, like a week later or
Yeah.
something.
so very non-eventful for myself. I think the biggest overcome was the fatigue.
Mhm.
So I would try to do a grocery shop with Brad and Tracy, and
Mhm.
I'd be wiped, just done. And like Jess said earlier, I never had experience with fatigue other than seeing it.
Yes.
Never experienced it.
Mhm.
So that was a new thing. Still kind of dealing with that right now.
And you weren't sleeping very well. So he tried to
Oh, yeah.
have naps.
Mhm.
Like some people can nap well and some people can't. And he's one of the ones that can't nap very
Mhm.
well.
But
So he
normally, no, I could always nap. I could nap.
now you do. And now he has
Mhm.
the day and
Yeah.
has no trouble. But at the time,
Yeah.
he wasn't sleeping very well at all.
Mhm.
And a lot of that too was just from being uncomfortable. So he's a
Yes.
soft sleeper.
Yeah.
Mm.
he's got this incision that he can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was also a shift for him too, or something to get used to. It was hard.
So there was waking hours. So I finished Netflix.
All of it.
All of
Watched
it.
all of it.
So,
So you're a Netflix pro now. You just got that.
yeah. If you wanted any critique on a show that's come out, I watched it.
Turn to Ian. He's got it.
Yeah. We're on to Disney Plus now.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So I wanted to ask you, everything just happened. So I don't want to say perfectly, because obviously you had a lot of ups and downs, obviously, but everything worked out. I mean, you met this amazing young man that you wasn't really feeling at the time, but in the end, he is your husband. He's literally your lifesaver. He's your angel. He's everything. He saved your life, right? Do you feel that this is just fate? Do you feel there's a higher power? Do you feel there's some type of like religious, connection here? Like, what do you think? Do you think that just happened to happen? Like, tell me, how do you feel this whole thing transpired? What was behind it? That's my question.
I'm curious to know what your answer is going to be for this.
Yeah,
Well,
let's go with Ian first.
Yeah, I know. I want to go with you first.
Let's go with Ian first. Yeah, let's switch it up. Let's hear what Ian thinks. Religious connection, or do you feel it was just fate?
I don't really believe in fate per se, but I don't know. The day one when we first started dating, I think I kind of knew it then, right? That's okay. Well, if I'm a match, I'll give her my liver, right? Like, so maybe manifestation. I can't change my blood type, obviously, with manifestation, but sure, maybe there's some fate there or luck. I mean, very analytical when it comes to things. So it's I mean, O is a very common blood type, right? So but I think our positive outlook on how we are and how you and I kind of transpire and go through life has the biggest effect on our outcome. And going in, we laugh a lot, we cry a lot, and I think I probably do more crying than she does. I'm supposed to be sweetheart. My friends are going to see this.
Yeah, I know.
So yeah.
You think us meeting? What about us meeting?
That was my next question. Was that fate? Was that chance? Was that luck? Was that?
I think it was proper timing. Sorry, that's
medication time.
That's Jessica's medication time.
It's all good.
I think it's timing. Like we knew each other in high school, but I said earlier I was way too cool for her. So
he smoked.
Oh yeah, I was a heavy smoker, and I was a young active kid. We'll leave it at that. But so fast forward a couple of years after that, and I mean the timing kind of worked out. We were both in a time of life where we're more mature, right? As if we started this in high school,
it wouldn't have happened in high school.
Yeah.
Right
now, Ian, I know what Jessica thinks because we're besties and we already spoke. But what do you think Jessica is going to say?
Oh no! Why? This could be an MLM, marriage limiting move. Right? I've already donated my liver. I gotta get a jail-free card. Right? I would say that she would say it's a little bit of fate. I don't know about the religion part of it, but I would say fate, and it was the universe kind of working in that direction.
Okay.
We've always both listened to the universe. Sometimes, we try to force the universe to do something, or something that we want so much, but there's been so many signs, and you push it, and it just ends up not being what you wanted it to do. Right? Whatever, making it very vague here, but so we've learned early on not to push the universe or it, right?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't call that faith or fate. We'll call it the universe. It's like, that's
Jessica?
You get a fist pump for that one.
yeah.
So,
Look at that. You guys know each other so well.
no, he's pretty much bang on. I mean, I've always believed that everything happens for a reason. I know some people don't, and that especially when hard things happen, that it's hard for them to understand maybe how someone can think that. But I think that even out of the awful things that you go through in life, that there's a lesson to be learned somehow, or that, you know, like going through this liver journey, like through, you know, between the different diseases and things I've had to deal with and the people I've met, and like I don't know, like I want to be able to help people somehow. And so like when we started doing like looking for a donor, we started a Facebook page, and I was posting about what it was like going through all this stuff. And I've heard back from people about how impactful that was for them. And so, you know, in that respect, if I hadn't had this disease or needed a transplant or did all the things, these people wouldn't have known what it was like, or exactly. Yeah. So again, like I believe that everything happens for a reason personally.
That's right.
Good or bad. I think it just depends on maybe how you see the situation. And like Ian said, we're both very positive people.
Yes.
So it's hard. I don't know. And I do believe in fate to a certain extent. Maybe that's the thing. That's the universe. Like Ian's right. We talk about like the universe is giving us a sign.
Yes.
You know, so we're, you know, if you take the transplant, for instance, like it took almost a full year. Like I was, you know, listed in January or February
last year,
and then didn't get my transplant until December. And that was a lot of like, I have two huge families, and, you know, a lot of them weren't blood matches that they tried, or, you know, couldn't be a donor.
Yes.
And, you know, I even that Facebook group, we had lots of followers, we had tons of people applying, and he was the best one out of all of them. Like
right there in your backyard, not in your backyard, right there
it is
in the house, right there.
Right? And, you know, and if we look back, like even before all of this, like Ian was like, when we went to, so after that duodenal ulcer surgery in 2013, one of the first things that Ian said when we went to a doctor's appointment after that was, okay, like, when do I get evaluated? Like, let's do this. And even in the hospital, like, because I'd gotten sick enough in the hospital that I was at the top of the list for a transplant. And he was like, okay, like, I'm ready, like, let's do this. And both times, like, it was like not the right time. And he was told, nope, we're not doing it now. So he, you know, third time's a charm, I guess. He tried to starve it third time, and here he is. So, but again, like, you know, just things in the universe and whatever, like, there's just, I don't know, it's something bigger than, I think there's something bigger than just us out there.
Yes.
And I believe in manifestation as well. Like, we're both positive, happy, outgoing, friendly people. And we
are.
we genuinely want the best. We want the best for people, right? So I think that what you put out comes back to you. And
I mean, we've seen a lot of that too. I mean, our immediate neighbors in our neighborhood here, like we've been very open about our situation, obviously, and and they've all come out of the woodworks, right? They've picked you up from an appointment because you couldn't drive home one day. They've shoveled our driveway during this process, watered our plants, you know.
I think that's also another big thing that we've taken away from this whole process is the amount of support that we have that we didn't realize that we had. And also the importance of asking for help.
Yeah.
That's been a hard lesson, and a really good one, and one that we're still working on. Ian's laughing because
saw the look over at Ian there that we're working on.
Well,
Yeah, right.
I'm still working on it too, but I definitely I know that he has a harder time asking for help than I do. But I think it's been a huge lesson for us, like, and in terms of, and also too, like, understanding, like, people want to help,
Let them.
let them help.
Yes, exactly.
You don't have to do it on your own.
Yeah.
Not at all.
And now that we're on this side of it, and Ian has said multiple times, like, he's like, we wouldn't be here kind of where we're at with things and without all of this support and all of these people in our lives.
Mm-hmm. It's
So
true.
we're super grateful and thankful for, you know, having all these people reach out and
Doing what they can.
Yes.
to be like the smallest thing or
Yeah.
whatever.
Like we had a bunch of friends make us a whole bunch of food to put in
Wow.
our like frozen meals, right? And
Mhm.
it's been great because like
One less thing to worry about.
Yeah.
And
Guaranteed. Yeah.
yeah, so it's just been like, we've been super grateful and thankful, and just, we're really lucky to have the support that we have too.
Mhm. I know it's just a little past your pill time or time for your meds. So I'm not going to drag this out anymore. I just want to know that you are two beautiful, amazing human beings. You guys just glow and radiate when you speak. You share your story, and you guys are like finishing each other's sentences. You guys are just like literally a match. Like you were just meant to be. Like it's so beautiful just listening to you speak and hear your story. And I'm just very happy you shared it with us here at the Green Table Talk. So thank you for doing that.
thank you.
Yes.
I'm curious though, would you say the same thing if I got that answer wrong? What I was gonna anticipated her answer?
You know what? I would just say, Jessica, go easy on him. That's all I gotta say.
Oh no, he's a keeper. He's not going anywhere.
Hey, there you go. You got nothing to worry about, Ian.
I'm
Nothing at all.
Invested.
Yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for asking us to do this.
Of
It's been,
course.
Absolutely.
yeah,
It's
it
a
was-
beautiful story. I had to share. But at this point in time, this is where I usually share. It's called a nugget of knowledge. And I just share a little, nugget of wisdom and what have you. And so today's nugget of knowledge, I can't take 100% credit for it. It's actually lyrics from a Shania Twain song. And I just kind of tweaked it about a bit because it reminds me of you, basically. So there's nothing better than beating the odds together. And that is what you guys literally did. You beat the odds together. You continue to be there for each other. You continue to take on life, take on all of life's challenges. That's right. So, like I said, you're two beautiful human beings. And I just wish you all the best and continued luck, success with anything that you do. And please feel free to come back and make me laugh. And this was such an amazing interview. Thank you.
No
Thank you.
worries.
Thank you
Thanks for
very much.
having us.
Of course. Thank you for joining us on the Green Table Talk, and we'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.